will be recorded. Okay. We want to record this talk so that people can watch it again, refer to it if they need to, because this is important. Anyway, before we go any further, I would like to deliver the land acknowledgement to you. In the spirit of respect, truth, and reconciliation, Elephant Artist Relief and Studio E gratefully honor and acknowledge Mohkinstsis and the traditional Treaty 7 territory and oral practices of the Blackfoot Confederacy, Siksika, Kainai, Piikani, as well as the Yasi, Nakota, and Tsuut'ina nations. We acknowledge that this territory is home to the Métis Nation of Alberta, Region 3, within the historical Northwest Métis homeland. Finally, we acknowledge all nations, Indigenous and non, who live, work, and play on this land, and to honor and celebrate this territory. Okay, so this is something we've been working on for a while, is providing affordable healthcare insurance to the artists in this community. And I'm not going to go into many more details. I'm going to leave that to the presenters. And if you're curious at all about Elephant Artist Relief Society, if you're not familiar with us, you can find us on Facebook at Elephant Artist Relief, and also Ears for Artists on Instagram, and also probably the best place to go is our website, Elephant Artist Relief Society. No, it's just elephantartistrelief.com, right? Okay. So, and there, if you're interested in the insurance, I'll say it once and it'll be said more as we go through. You can apply for the insurance right through our website. Anyway, I'm going to pass this over to Marianne Elder, who is our administrator extraordinaire, and she will be discussing and sharing ideas back and forth with Jason Solé, who is a representative from Arts and Entertainment. So without further ado, take it away, Marianne.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining us tonight. Some of you may know what EAR is about, some of you may not. We are a nonprofit based in Calgary, Alberta, and we offer emergency resources to artists in Calgary and the surrounding area. People from wherever can become members. Most of our workshops now are online, so a lot of our content's now online. And one of the most important things that we do, and Jill can give background about EAR if she wishes, but one of the most important things we do is we provide a bridge for artists experiencing financial or medical crises through an emergency relief fund. And so artists who are in crisis and that live within Calgary and the surrounding area can apply to us for emergency funding to cover the unexpected, to help them continue with their practice and continue making art and having a fulfilling life. Of course, with the COVID pandemic, it's been increasingly hard for artists, especially in this community and all over the world. And one of the things that EAR has been looking at for the past couple of years has been a lot of the people that reach out for help and resources with us specifically are in medical crisis. And it's one of the reasons that EAR was actually founded in 2007 and was to actually help an artist who was having a medical crisis at the time. And EAR began from that. So it made a lot of sense to us to look into how could we provide more resources to our community through a safety net of healthcare. And for myself, one of the biggest things that's hard for me is that, you know, without having full benefits with an employer or other opportunities for that, it's really hard to actually afford dental prescriptions, vision, things like that. So we looked into group health insurance. And for any of you who have had group health insurance, you'll know that usually, you know, my experience with it has always been through an employer. And so, you know, part of my wages would be paid to the premium and I would just go to the doctor and hopefully it was direct bill or I'd have to pay up front. But when you're self-employed or you're an artist or you're a gig worker, you don't have those safety nets. And when we started doing research about group health benefits, we looked at doing it look, reaching out to like, Blue Cross and all the sorts of different things. And over, we came up against limitations regarding, different types of coverage and how we're a nonprofit organization with a membership, as opposed to employees who regularly are being paid. And we came across an amazing program called the Arts and Entertainment Plan. And we have become a partner with them, and we are offering group health insurance to all EAR members as part of your membership. And so, Jason, if you would like to talk about what the Arts and Entertainment Plan does and why, that would be fantastic.
Yeah, thank you so much, Marianne. And thank you for joining us tonight, guys. I promise to make this easy to listen to and easily digestible. I am not an insurance salesman, so I'm trying my hardest not to make it sound insurance-y, but I think what we'll do is start at a high level just to give everybody a background. And I apologize if this is boring for anyone who may know how it works, but I thought to start off and kick off would be ideal to get the picture of healthcare in Canada. And then we're going to slowly work into the A&E plan. And I think at the end of it, we'll have a lot of questions answered for you guys and a lot of feel-good things of the similarities to the things that EAR is doing. You'll also find out who AFBS is and all the things that we're doing. So I'm going to share this with you guys, and you guys let me know if we are good.
We are good.
Okay. So Health Insurance 101, we're going to give an intro to the A&E plan, but like I said, we'll start high level. So we'll start with the very basic. What is insurance? So insurance, I'm not going to read these screens for you. Everyone's highly intelligent room. I'm probably the least smartest person here, so I will not bore you by reading things. And it's a contract between parties. That's essentially what it is, and you pay a premium against risk. What is health insurance? This is getting kind of a little bit different. It's important to know that health insurance in Canada, you're part of Medicare. So health insurance in Canada, the province is always first payer. Private insurers are second payer. So we work with provincial plans. We cannot compete with provincial plans. This is not like the US. Every province has their own standards, which is withheld by the Canada Health Act. So every province and territory must act and offer the same basic coverage, but there are nuances and there are differences between each province. But as a whole, they have to look and feel the same across Canada for everybody, but there are little differences. So if you have a provincial health card, you're part of Medicare, you have insurance with the government. Where private insurance kicks in here is when you voluntarily go to an insurer, or you get it part of any other means. Marianne said as part of employment is typically the most common. Things that aren't covered by the provincial plans, all the things you see here. Now, obviously, if there's financial means, you may have access to some of these things, but generally overall, if you're going for a voluntary program, you're not getting your drugs paid, you're not getting your dental paid, you're not getting your massages and stuff like that paid, and your eyeglasses. So what this is provincial plans are covering basic things and they choose, but you're not getting the things that help you maintain health. And that's pretty much what we're trying to lay out here on this slide. What you do get for voluntary health insurance programs is in this gray area. You typically get your dental drug. Sometimes you can get the red box. These are different revenue streams for insurers. So the other things you probably won't get because these are add-ons that come at a premium. So just to give you some context, if we were to add disability to the product we currently have, we would double that product cost. So a disability is a very expensive product. So when you're paying it out of your own pocket, we're not offering you disability. Since we know we're working within the arts community as well, and we'll touch on some of those points, people are not coming to us to buy health insurance. We're one of the largest disability payers in this space, but that's because we're set up a little bit differently on the back end. I can get into that later if you are interested in that, but that's not really important here. Critical illness is a lump sum payment if you were to get some kind of illness. That's usually a standalone product. And of course, life insurance, everybody knows what that is. So you may think, why would I get health insurance? Some of the reasons you may think to yourself, some of these are pretty good. I guess if we're asking ourselves the question, why would you do it? If you're asking that in the first place, maybe there's something that's occurred where you're starting to think, maybe this is something for me. What it is in my mind, what we're talking about here is just managing your healthcare costs. peace of mind knowing that if you're going to pay something, you're going to get something in return if something should happen. And we also have benefits part of the offering that you actually get to benefit even if you don't have to claim something. So there's other products that make it beneficial or value add other than some of the health insurance benefits. And we'll get into that as well. What it is not, and this is important, and I think it's most important for a lot of the people I talk to who are artists and not aware of what insurance is. I think you have to have the right expectation, because if you don't have that expectation, you're going to be set up for failure, and it's no good for either party. This isn't a pot at the end of the rainbow. So we're not just charging you money and making all this money and we're going to pay for everything and, you know, we're making all this money off everybody. That's something that's not happening. This isn't a stock. You're not going to invest every year. Most likely what's going to happen is when you pay into a health insurance program, the very premise of the whole model is the healthy take care of the sick. So when you need access to it and you need it, it's there. So I think a lot of people don't understand. We get a lot, you know, if I'm paying $1,000, I want $1,000 back. And I think my answer to those people is, if you, this is still a business and we're trying to pay claims for everybody. So if you have a business and you charge $1,000 for a gig and it costs you $1,200, you're not going to be in business for too long. So I think that's something to kick off right from the start. This isn't something that you're going to, you could, but 99% you're not going to go and benefit from every year. You're not gaining from this in terms of monetary value. Some of the things against insurance at a high level that I get sometimes people talking about is that very point we just talked about. A lot of people say they're healthy, they don't need it. It's too expensive, which is a great argument, but we have a solution. Coverages are limited. I'll pay for it myself. So these are some of the resistance and a lot of conversations I hear with people having it. But at the end of the day, what it comes down to, and a lot of people don't like to admit it, but when I do speak to people and talk to people, this is a money game. So if you're not used to paying premiums a month, it's a difficult thing. So, and people like to express their anger maybe at insurance in general, but generally it just comes down to, you know, affording the insurance. And I think that's the argument, or that's what most people, when it comes down to, is, you know, this is something that you have to get used to, or you have to think about. And it is expensive for someone who doesn't pay for it or has never paid for it. So it's a learning curve. These are just some slides, and what these slides are just saying by Sun Life, as a disclaimer, we didn't put these together and they're a little bit dated now, but the messaging is still the same. The cost of people starting to spend on like accidents and illnesses in your healthcare is rising, obviously. That's just what they're saying here. I'll give you a couple of minutes to look at some of these things. What this next slide is saying, which is interesting, is now the second point there. What they're saying is that in the lower quintile of people, the lower income people are starting to have a lot of increase in what they're spending as a family or as individuals for their healthcare. So before, maybe they kind of expected it for the first three quintiles, but now all of a sudden we have the lower one where they're saying now we're noticing people are starting to spend a lot of money on lower income for healthcare and towards healthcare costs. So maybe if we're starting to look at insurance and you are thinking, you know, I understand what I have from my province, I might be interested in maybe venturing out and maybe looking at insurance. Prior to doing that, maybe some of the things you can ask yourself are these questions. I think the first one you should really think to yourself and ask it, be honest with yourself, would be, you know, what can you afford? And are you putting money away for if something were to happen? I can tell you anecdotally and by experience that people don't. But if you were going to have that argument, or you're going to have that that message in your mind, I think that's a typical thing you want to get around first. And then you want to start thinking of maybe other things. You know, how much do you typically spend now? Do you see yourself spending some more in the future? Are there certain benefits you think you can take advantage if you have health insurance outside of provincial coverage? If you have pre-existing conditions, now we can get into this later too, but I'll touch on this. The pre-existing conditions one's something that you should pay very close attention to, because as you get older and as you're sourcing these insurance out, a lot of these coverages are medically underwritten. So you are assessed the risk when you come in. So a lot of insurance now on a voluntary basis, especially, if you fill out an application, you say, I have these pre-existing conditions. What in most cases is going to happen is that you may find that you're not going to get those things covered by your plan. So the very reason why you're going to get insurance is you're already going to get a product that doesn't cover what you may be inquiring about. And as you get older, if you have insurance and leave insurance, you got to remember, the longer you go down along the line, the harder it's going to be back in and get products that will have or maybe cover pre-existing conditions. So that's something that's an important one to keep in mind. And maybe once you had that philosophical question and you're wondering, you know what, maybe I'm kind of interested now. Maybe I want to go and shop this around to the Blue Crosses, the AFBSs, the Sun Lifes, the Manulifes. These are starting things you may want to start asking yourself on a more granular level, like what exactly are coverage differences, what aren't covered, which is very important. Really understand the programs that you're looking at. And if you don't understand, call and ask and be annoying and ask questions, because the last thing you want to be in is a position of when you're shopping for something. Insurance isn't like, you know, I always kind of say, like, health insurance, people say you buy insurance, you get it, you just think things are covered. But if you have a family and you're shopping for a car, I'm not going for a 2-seater if I need a 4-seater and then complaining afterwards. So really get into it and ask questions and look at what's covered. Where can you get this stuff? Obviously, we're here in this conversation today. You are getting it through your organization for EAR. You can get it direct from a lot of associations. CEA has ones, Chamber of Commerce's. There's lots of different areas now that look to member benefits to add insurance access. You can go to a broker. They can search the market, talk to insurers for you, and find out what you can get. And you can go direct to insurers now. You can go right to Manulife, Blue Cross, AFBS. Lots of different options and ways for you to buy. Now we get into the good stuff. So who we are is AFBS. So fundamentally at our core, we're artists helping artists. So we are a not-for-profit, federally owned insurance company. We've been in business for over 40 years. We insure over 17,000 self-employed people, and we manage over $850 million in member assets. So that may not be big to big insurers, but I guess what it's trying to illustrate here is that we're not going anywhere. We've been in business for 40 years. We have solid footing. We're a federally incorporated insurance company. We have the funds to be here. So if you haven't heard from us, that doesn't mean that, you know, we're not going to be here tomorrow. So I want to get everybody clear on that point there. And the important thing here is this little paragraph underneath is, you know, we're board run by members just like you. We have a couple outside board members for, you know, just for objectivity and stuff like that in the business world, but we're member owned and run. So all of this is for the creative community. So it's quite an amazing story. It's actually makes my job really easy. And it's nice for me to come in here and to offer products that compete with huge conglomerates, to say that we're a little not-for-profit insurer that has an office in Toronto and BC, that we can have a product that's better and competes with what's out there. So it's a real feel good story. And I think it does touch on a lot of things, especially if you're in this community. So why do we offer this plan? Simple reasons why we'd offer this is access. We want people in the arts to have the same access as the regular people out there in the world. We want something that's easy, something that you can get to, simple and portable. So you can get access through this through EAR, but once you have this, this can carry along with you. You can take this with you where you go. As long as you want to have the insurance, you can have the insurance. It's follow you. It's not tied to an employer. It's not tied to anything. So that's one of the key things to remember as well. What makes us different? Exclusive to the arts. Artists helping artists. We touched on that earlier. And we're not for profit. So we don't pay shareholders. So how this works on the insurance side of things is premiums come in to pay claims and administration going out. There's no paying shareholders or anything like that. We charge what it costs. That's why we can compete. That's actually how we can compete. The Arts and Entertainment Plan, personal health insurance, created exclusively for the Canadian artistic community. We're allowed to offer insurance across the country nationally. We can only offer insurance to people within the artistic community. So we're in a box and we know exactly who we're dealing with, and we know exactly the type of people that we're giving products to. So, and I think that experience of 40 years of doing that and being part of the community of the people that we're offering it to, puts us way ahead of the curve. Obviously, fundamentally, again, I'm touching on this, the artist helping artist piece. So why would you choose the arts and entertainment plan? Guaranteed issue is the easy one here, easy to join. So simple, easy to join, no barriers, no red tape, and it's affordable. So we offer some of the best rates in Canada. What we wanted to do is if we were going to offer this product to members or people in the community, we want them to do it at a cost-effective rate. And we also want to do so there's no barriers. So if you want insurance, you go online, you fill an application, you pay the premium, you have insurance. It's as simple as that. Arts and entertainment plan has two options, standard and comprehensive. Comprehensive is just as the word entails. It's higher maximums in certain benefit categories. I think we'll go to the next one here. So for instance, for dental and drug, you have higher dental maximums. For extended healthcare, you have higher maximums for certain benefits. You will have a few other benefits that you wouldn't have on a standard plan. But both plan options give you those benefits that you're looking at there. So some of the things we offer on a dental front is we offer major dental. A lot of insurers don't offer that. On the prescription drug front, this is anecdotal. Don't hold me to this. I'm thinking Alberta offers something in the neighborhood of 3,500 drugs on a provincial plan. We have access over 9,500. Travel emergency, 60-day, no questions asked, business or pleasure. That's part of the policy, no extra charge. Extended healthcare, you're talking about things like registered specialties, massage, chiro, Chinese therapy, stuff like that. Hospital, all those things are under that category. We offer you a small term life and AD&D benefit. So what this means, there's no cash value on it. So there's no investment portion of it. But if you pass, there's money there, or you can leave to somebody else. That's included, no cost as well. And the last one would be the Member and Family Assistance Program. This is access to an online professional, whether it be financial, a lawyer. This is meant to be short term, so you can't get divorced using this product. But if you have several questions you want to ask, you can, in the neighborhood of about 6 to 8 times, depending on what field you're accessing. Again, that's part of the program. So why A&E works so well for people in this community? Flexible payment options, portability is huge. You can offer coverage to your family, your partners, easy access. If you want the insurance, you're going to get it. We're not asking you any medical questions. We have a pay direct option at the pharmacy and dentist. Right now, it's the EHC, so your massages and stuff is a reimbursement. So you pay and we reimburse you later. However, we are in the development of allowing claim submission online. So that's probably about a 2-month out project. So you'll be able to submit online those benefits as well. We're national, and if you pay, you're going to have benefits for life. There's a screen just kind of outlining, although we may be the lowest cost option out there for voluntary health insurance, we actually offer more. Like I said, the major dental, the life, the assistance program, these are things that are additional costs if you go to other insurers. So if we take our standard program, this is a little blurry, which that actually holds true meaning if it actually applies to you. It's something that you need until you don't need until you need it. And if you need it, most times it's too late. We got a quote from Margaret Atwood. This is not an easy thing to get. So if she's happy, that must mean everyone's happy about this program. That's Fred from CBC. He was a anchor on talk about finance. Some of the organizations, you'll see elephant artists here, but we offer over 100, the program to over 100 associations, unions, and guilds. We have a sister program called the Writers Coalition Program, which deals with the writing community. So yeah, there's some of those. We had a little interview I did with Benefits Canada talking about the gig economy and how this program fit in. Costs. These costs hold true for we are on AFBS. So $77 is for the standard plan under 65, all in price. The price goes up if you're in a province with tax. The others here that we're showing, I can guarantee you they've gone up. I haven't checked those rates lately, but I'm pretty confident that those rates have gone up. Our goal here is to keep it like every November we have an anniversary and we look at experience and we look at costs. I can tell you in the 11 years the programs have been running, we've had premium increases 3 times. The most was 3%. We haven't had an increase in 4 years. There's not an increase this year. So these are things that we constantly think about. So we always try to add something to the program, not take it away, keep costs the same. So I know how critically important this is. We know our audiences, we know the business, we know where we have to be on a premium. If you are interested, how do you join? You can do it online. It takes a few minutes, get a quote. It takes literally about 3 minutes. You have insurance. The first of the following month you apply, you have insurance. We send you a package, you're ready to go. That's simple. If you want to do it the old school way and you want to print off a paper application, that could be done as well. And I think Marianne or somebody else mentioned that you guys can access the link right off the year website as well. So this is our email down here. That's our direct number if you want to get a hold of us. That's the website. I encourage you all to look through. If you want to email here, my email is not on there, but if you want to talk to me, you can email the administrator or the admin email. And if you want to talk to me directly and say, hey, I heard you from here, I got some more questions, I'm not comfortable talking in front of everybody, I want to talk directly to you, just put in the subject line my name and I'll get back to you. And that is it for my, I turn it over to you.
Thanks, Jason. I really appreciate that. One of the biggest reasons we decided to go with arts and entertainment was because it was nonprofit and artists for artists, which I think one of the things that I'll just tell you from personal experience, because I was doing a ton of the research and because I am looking for health insurance for me and my family, which is, you know, that's hard. And I have twins who are 11 and have teeth and they eat sugar. So it's fun. And expensive. So I had actually been shopping around and looked and compared. And one of the things that I thought was really interesting was the fact that they do cover major dental, which was huge for me. And the other piece is that there's family plans as well for like dependents or for if you have more than one. And the costs actually made sense when I added up all of my healthcare costs over the past couple of years. And I figured it out. And it was either break even or slightly under what I'm currently paying out of pocket now. And I know that I'm going to have some major dental coming up, I'm sure, because my kids are growing too fast. So we'll see. But Jason didn't hear that when I sign up for benefits, so I don't get overcharged. The other thing is that we wanted to offer something to the community. We are happy. Is here to help artists when they're in crisis. But sometimes we want to get ahead of that and we want to provide some sort of support before you get into a crisis situation. And, we see this over and over again when we're talking to different people in the community about what their needs are. And, is it free? No. But does it protect you? Yes. And it's an investment in you and in your community, which I think that's a really big piece. Like Jason said, it's not for profit. It's going into a pool to help the rest of us. And, when I think about it that way, it helps me sort of understand what I'm paying for, because I wish I was a better planner, but when I look at plans like this, it just makes a ton of sense, especially, given what I do and the work I make and, what I'm exposed to and all of those things. So if any of you have any questions, you can feel free to ask. One of the questions I had actually was, what are the so one of the things I thought was really interesting was, Jason, if I went, and I'm actually asking this, if I went and signed up today, would my coverage start November 1st?
It would.
Okay.
So if you sign up the last day of the month, we start enrollments the 1st of every month. So as long as you get in the last of the month, you can be effective November 1st. Okay.
And can you be clear about, so there's no pre-existing condition issues, no medical questionnaires. What about the age limits? Because I think it was like if people were over the age of 71.
Yep. I think yeah, you're back there. Yeah, unfortunately, that's something we're tackling now for the people who are outside of that age range, but 71 is the oldest you can be. So 7 years old for the last to be to apply for the coverage. That's something we look at every year as well, because we do get some older members saying, why are you doing this? But unfortunately, right now we're at 70. So prior to 71 is the latest you can enroll.
Okay. And the other thing that I understood was, so I am a little bit more savvy with taxes, maybe not. Maybe I have lots to learn, but I actually claim my medical expenses on my taxes. And so are premiums something that I can claim towards my medical expenses?
Yeah, if you file your taxes as a self-employed person, it's 100% deductible. And anything that's unpaid by us, so the difference of what we cover, so we cover 70% of the majority of the things, that 30% is also tax deductible as a medical expense.
Okay. Thanks for that.
No problem. Thank you.
Sorry, can you just say it one more time? That the premiums are tax deductible?
Yes.
If you file as a, yeah, if you file as a self-employed person, they are, yes.
I deduct all my premiums, just so I deduct everything. And it's a percentage based on, so like every year based on my income, it's a percentage of how much, like I can say I spent $4,000, but they'll only credit me with 1,200, say, because it's a percentage. But even before I had a business number, I would still deduct medical expenses under my deductions. But I'm not a tax person. I'm curious to ask what people think, like, for the people that are joining us and sort of new to this idea and what we're doing. What are your thoughts about this? Because it's expensive. I actually kind of choke on the idea of it. It's another new expense that I have, but it's also something that for me is actually important. Any thoughts?
Well, for me, I think going from full-time employment to part-time employment, what I like about this is it does give me that sense of security. And I like that I'm kind of, in a way, it's like I'm working with other artists to help each other. I think that part of it really speaks to me. And then also, I just know that we've been working on getting affordable healthcare insurance for artists for so long that I feel like this is such a celebratory time and moment for EAR and for all of our members. That's all I have to say about it.
Thanks.
I must say that I was not aware of the fact that I don't know if somehow this went over my head that that the coverage in certain areas like dental was actually much larger than in other plans. That went over my head. That's really good to know. So it's very encouraging.
I know some people don't like to ask questions in front of a group. So if you are interested to talk one-on-one with me, or if you just want to, not even if you're interested, if you just want to talk about insurance in general, I don't mind spending time going through things with you. If you have a couple plans in place that you want to shop, or you're just not sure how to read the lingo and you just want some advice, I don't mind sitting with you and guiding you through what works best for you. Because at the end of the day, I'm not trying to get you and get your money and take you for a year and you hate the experience. Like, if you want to come join the plan, retention is the key here. I want you part of the plan because you want to be part of the plan. And at the end of the day, I don't have any quotas to meet. I'm not, one of my roles is I oversee these programs, but I do other things at AFBS. So I'm not a sales guy going out there doing things. My job is to go out to organizations like this, offer access to the membership, go back, manage and administer the program on, the operations side, front end and back end. But I'm not here trying to like push people. And I think you'll find that when you talk to us, we're not down your throat trying to enforce things down you. We want you to be comfortable with the situation you're in. We know when we're talking to you that we have experience talking to artists.
Yeah.
So I think that's important to get out there.
It's true. It's true. It is definitely a specific demographic for sure, since most of us do live within the whole gig economy framework, which is a very different world from the work-a-day world that most people are in. So it is good. Katie made a really good comment here. She said, I think it's a bit of a brain flip, but the idea of getting ahead of crisis, because of what we do is with EAR, we've been mostly dealing with artists in terms of crisis. So if we can get ahead of crisis and build ourselves safety net that includes insurance, it truly is a relief. And yeah.
I think I saw a couple people, Karen and Joanne, it looked like one of you had something, or I don't mean to call you out. I'm sorry, Karen.
No, I just wanted to clarify, Jason, you said 60 days of extended travel?
Yeah, 60 days. So the policy we have, it's not our policies with IA, but it doesn't matter. Sorry, I shouldn't have said that. Confuse the matters. It's 60 days. So you have it. All the travel insurance it's important to note that any travel insurance you have comes with an exclusive, can't even talk. Comes with an exclusion of, what do they call it? The term escapes me right now. I'm sorry. But every policy comes with, you have to be considered like healthy, which means you haven't been to the doctor in the last 60 days prior to a trip. You haven't had any major medical change. Anything like that before a trip, you should always check with the insurer. But if you're healthy, there's nothing like that going on, you're good to go. 60 days, no questions asked. Business or pleasure. And then if you come back for, I think it's 4 days, you can go do it again as multiple times, as many times as you want.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
That's almost double most other plans.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Thank
I have
you.
one question. I'd like you to clarify what you said about when the policy goes into effect. Like, say somebody was really excited about this and signed up for the insurance tonight. They go to your website, maybe they renew their membership, and they go to your website and they sign up for the insurance. It kicks into effect at the beginning of the following month.
Yep, November 1.
So that's the way it always is whatever day of the month, it kicks in on the first day of the next month.
Following month, that's right.
Okay.
Yep.
Good to know.
Joanne?
So I had a question. Sorry, Eric, I saw you put your hand up there. I'm not totally familiar with what the plan's offering in terms of dental from standard versus comprehensive. I'm interested. It seems like the artists and gig workers that I know, dental seems to be a huge issue. So yeah, if you could kind of lay it out for me, what is covered between the two, that I guess, and what's the difference? You're like you show that it's about, say, roughly $77 a month for standard coverage, and so how much is it for comprehensive coverage?
Comprehensive is age banded every 5 years. So under 44, here, I can tell you right now, under 44, you're looking at, give me 1 second here. So we're talking for a single individual. So if you're under 44, the comprehensive in Alberta would cost you $118.67. The next 45 to 49 would be $126.71, and these are all monthly. 50 to 54 would be $134.77. 55 to 59 would be $144.66. 60 to 64 would be $137.11. 65, 69, 136.85, and then 70, 75, 133. It doesn't stop at that age. That's when the premium, that doesn't change after that.
Okay, and so then for the standard, what is coverage? Is it just a lump, like we'll give you $500 towards whatever, or
yeah, so it's a $400 bucket, major or basic. The comprehensive is 3 years. We do it in increments. So we do year 1, you get 300 basic, 500 major. Same the second year. Third year, you get 500 basic, 750 major.
Yeah, I noted for the comprehensive for dental, because that's what I was paying attention to, that it was, and I think $800 in total with both the basic and the major yearly. So, and the percentages was like, I forget, it was like 60 or 70, and it's all laid out on the website pretty good.
Yeah, for the most of the plan, the percentage is 70%. For dental, it's 60% comprehensive, 50 for standard.
Okay, and sorry, I missed it. Is that based on the standard or the comprehensive plan?
The standard is 50% paid up to 400. The comprehensive is 60% paid up to, depending on what year, 1 to 3. So it's 300 and 500, 300, 500, 300, 750.
Eric, you had a question.
I just wanted to know what the process would look like. So if somebody came in on the standard plan and wanted to upgrade to the comprehensive plan, or vice versa, how regularly can you do that? And what does that look like, I guess?
Yep. So you can do that definitely. You can go up or down. When you are going up, that's a 2-year commitment. So if you're in standard, you say, Jason, I want to go to comprehensive. We're asking you to stay there 2 years. And then if you want to go back down when you're up there, you can go down any time, and then it works the same way every time you do it. You have to do it at renewal though. You can't do it midway through the year. So it's something that you commit to, you renew, and then it will happen at that time. But they can definitely do it both ways.
So then the renewal will just happen at the same time every year.
Yeah, so generally if you go, you're going to join online via credit card. The renewal happens automatically. We send you out notice 45 days in advance. We have to tell you what we're charging. We haven't changed the prices in 4 years. So that's what we're doing. If you want to make a change, you would let us know in advance of your renewal date, and we would move you up or down.
So if you choose one plan or the other, you're locked into that plan for the entire year.
Yes, so if you're going up, so if you're going to increase your coverage, you have to lock into that for 2 years. We're asking you to commit to that. And if you want to know the honest truth of why we do that, it's an insurance, it's what every insurer does. When you're going up, it's because you need to go up. So what we're doing here is protecting the pool. So if we had people just doing what they want going up and down when they needed it, then that's going to impact everybody else in premiums and claims and whatnot. So we're saying if you want to go up, sure, you can go up, but we have to commit for 2 years. And then if you want to come back down later, you can do so.
So what, one of the other things you mentioned in one of your slides right at the outset, which is something I've done all the time, a number of times where I've created multiple spreadsheets every few years, I think, maybe I should do it. I make a spreadsheet and I go, well, I'm going to pay $1,500, but if I go to the dentist and I get glasses and everything else, I'm still, I come out, not recovering that. And normally it's prescription drugs where you start to see that gap being filled. Can you talk to us a little bit about that? And I know that, obviously you kind of have to, in a way, amortize it over multiple years, assuming that at some point you're going to need, prescription drugs or whatever, and you'll kind of recoup it at that point in time. But can you talk to us a little bit about that?
I think what the thing to think of in those areas, if you're not maybe using the program and you're thinking, okay, I use this much. Yes, the potential to use it is there. Something could happen where you're going to need it. But I think what we can think about is the other products that we're offering you. So we're offering you those travel insurance, which is if you're someone who's 50 and you are healthy or you're not healthy, buying that product in itself would cost hundreds of dollars just by an age, just the way you're aged. So that's a value add. So that's something that if you're using, you're getting value out, but you're not really seeing that, but you are getting value to that. If you access the member family assistance program, so you want to talk to a lawyer, you want to access professional services, you get that time with those people several times. That's a value add into that product you might be using. The term life insurance we give you is something you don't even think about. That's something that's there, value add again, something that you would pay whatever it would be depending on your age. And then again, that in itself, as you get older, to get $10,000 of life insurance, you're paying hundreds of dollars a month. So depending on where you are, that's what we try to do. We give you the core stuff for knowing that you can only do it when you're medically necessary, you need these things. But then we're adding these other things where value is created in those other areas.
And I can say from personal assistance, I don't know what AFBS, I haven't had experience with them particularly, but I've used the extended benefits like that. I forget what it's called. I always call it MEP, the family assistance, what used to be called employee assistance plan. That's what I'm used to. And actually, yeah, it's incredibly helpful. There's life coaches, there's financial coaches, there's lawyers, there's there's all sorts of like nutrition coaches. There's all sorts of people that you can access and get help from. And it's funny, I'm glad you mentioned it because I didn't think about it, but you're right. That is a big value add for me.
Yeah, it's typically called the employee assistance program. That's what you know it as. Yeah, I personally use it all the time. I get lots of value at it. I've talked to about 3 lawyers already this year. So it is something that's very, when you realize what it is and what it offers and what it could offer you, that's a very good benefit.
Yeah, thanks for saying that. I mean, obviously, I'm here today because I know this is a much better approach to health insurance than the standard fare. So, my deep appreciation to everyone who's done the work on this is really great. Thank you.
That is so sweet. Yes, I think we should all give Marianne especially a round of applause because she has been working so darn hard on this.
She's done the bulk of the work.
I appreciate that. I learned a ton, so it's been great. Holly, do you have a question?
Yeah, I just had a quick question because I was thinking about young artists, try and get them in on this program. And I was thinking if someone wanted to join the health insurance, but then down the line said, you know, I'm going to step away for a little bit because my situation has changed, would there be a penalty to coming back? Would there, how would, if they wanted to join it, finish their contract, leave for a little bit and come back, could they get back on their original insurance, or would they have to sort of be reevaluated?
Good question. No, there's no penalties. So I'll give you the technical legalese stuff. When you come into us, you have 30 days to try it. If you make a claim, you have to commit to the full 12 months that you said you'd commit to. That's what the language is. However, I know the community who we deal with and things that happen. My main goal for the program is to protect the program. So if you're you're like, you know what, Jay, 6 months, I'm having a tough time. COVID is a great example. A lot of people who just couldn't afford it. As long as the program is not in a negative, which means if you've made $200 in claims, you've paid more than $200 in premium, we're going to let you cancel, reinstate whenever you want. You want to come back, you go back to the same plan you're in. We're not going to charge you anything like that. You can pick up where you left off. You won't pick off for that coverage time period, but the new period you start, you can go to the same plan. There's no penalties. We're not charging you anything. So to answer your question in a long-winded way, no, yes, you can come back. No, there's no charges and fees involved. As long as the program's protected. And what I mean is, like I said, as long as you're not claiming $3,000 and you claim a month, you say, okay, I want to leave now. Like that's not something that we're looking to do. But in any other scenario, yes, you can leave. We're not holding anybody hostage here.
Yay.
I have another question.
Yep.
I think you addressed this a little bit at one point. I believe you said there is no direct billing as of yet.
There is direct billing at the pharmacy and the dental office. So you just give them you give them your numbers and you can do it right directly there.
That's brilliant. That is a real game changer right there.
Yeah, what I was speaking to is, I know sometimes I get mad myself and I confuse people when I'm putting too much out there. The extended healthcare piece, so your massages and stuff like that, what we're working on now is a way to submit those electronically. So that'll be coming. So everything will be kind of a direct bill type of deal.
Okay.
And that's probably two maybe, I'm gonna put myself out there, maybe about 3 months. 3 months we were looking at doing it via email, but email is not a secure source to do it. So I think we're gonna have to go through a member portal type of way to do it. But we're doing the business rules, we're scoping it out now. So it's something that we're gonna be doing. So that's coming to make it easy, especially if you're in Alberta, right? Nobody wants to mail their claims in this day and age. It's ridiculous. This is an argument I have with a lot of our board members as well. Nobody wants to mail in claims anymore. That's like getting your mail by horse still. You know what I mean? It just doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
Before we
oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was going to say that the direct billing, that's a real game changer, because many of the applications that we've had for emergency help is people who like have a root canal they need to get done, and even if they had health insurance, they can't pay for it right away. So I mean, just telling people if they apply now, they'd have it at the beginning of the next month, and then they could do what they need to do at the dentist, right? So it's there. That's huge. That's huge.
Yep. We're working on direct deposit as well too. These are all things that are happening simultaneously. So that'll be a nice game changer as well.
Cool.
Yeah, when it's nice, like you're, being that financial bridge when artists are in crisis, whether it's medical or financial, like, because one of the questions that Holly asked about, what if something happens? COVID's a great example. A lot of people's incomes were cut more than in half. in a really quick period of time. You know, this is what we're here for, you know, like we back you up on this too. But I actually had a question, I apologize. The language about, I know this might be granular, but the language about prescription drugs and the formulary.
Yep.
Can you explain that to me?
Insurance fee?
Yeah,
Yeah,
please.
formularies are just like what we cover, our drug list of what we cover. So our formulary is everything on this drug list that we
Okay.
offer. So all the drugs that we offer. So like I said before, when I gave reference, you know, the provinces offer 4,000 and less drugs. We have over 9,500 drugs. And if you go, some of the scenarios here is that we are a generic plan.
Yeah.
And we do have a special authorization process. So a lot of drugs are, not a lot, some drugs are SA processes. So there's a process to that. So if you go and like, oh, my drug's not covered, you have to see what drug it is. And if it's an SA drug, then you got to apply to get that covered. But those are few of those.
Okay.
But
Are they
these are
mostly
typical,
newer?
it's just typical insurance stuff. It's just
Okay.
every insurer at the end of the day, everyone's moved to generic to control cost.
Yeah.
And then what we're trying to do is find alternative therapies before you go from one directly to the other. If there's something that works that's cheaper, that's what the whole process is meant to do.
Yeah. Okay. That was a lot of information. I really appreciate that. Does anyone have any thoughts or questions or anything they want to ask or add while you have the chance?
Is there a place online where we can look up the drug list that's available?
The drug list is, there's 9,000 drugs and it changes all the time. If there are drugs that you're questioning, if you want, you just give us an email or call us in. You can give us a few DINs and we can tell you what's covered right away.
Perfect.
So if you're taking stuff, just give us a DIN and we'll give it a check. We'll let you know.
Thank you.
No problem.
Been better than I thought it was. It's great.
We get asked that a lot actually to provide that list, but it changes all the time. Things are delisted and added, and now these biosimilars and all these specialty things. It's just something you can't maintain. It's a lot of work.
Well, and the patents change pretty quickly as well.
Yeah, it's a lot of work. Yeah.
Okay. Anyone have anything else? No. Feel free. You can. Oh, Norman. Yeah.
You have a question?
Yeah. With travel insurance, I understand there's some countries now that require special COVID insurance. Can you speak to that?
Yep, COVID's on there. We cover COVID. A lot of the airlines are covering COVID now as well. If you fly with Air Canada, Sunwing, but our policy does cover COVID. This is medically necessary though, so there's COVID exclusions where it is when you get there. I think how it works on this policy, and you can look on the website and read the actual verbiage, but I believe, you know, if you're healthy enough to move within 5 days, they want to fly you back home. They don't want you to be there to be taken care of, and they're not going to pay quarantine costs if you are stuck there and stuff like that. But there is coverage for the medical portions of it. If you're in a hospital and you're on a ventilator type of things, there is coverage for that. But it's important to note that if you're in a country like the US and you're on a ventilator, $250,000 isn't going to last you for too long. So these are some of the things that it's a good thing you asked that question, because depending on where you're going, like a lot of these coverage, I have COVID coverage, but depending how sick you are, maybe that 250 is not taking you too far. Just some food for thought.
All right, thank you.
Oh. Anything else?
Great presentation. I liked all the questions. I learned quite a lot. Thank you, Jason.
Yeah, thank you guys. It was great. Good conversation.
Thank you.
And you can access information. You can access the A&E plan even through our website. You can always shoot us questions at the elephantartistrelief@gmail email. And of course, Jason also said, you know, you can reach out to the AE plan. And for me, it's a huge sort of commitment. But knowing that you're as an organization sort of backs you up, that's also kind of a nice thing to know as well. And knowing that I have coverage for root canals is great. So, and we don't benefit at all, except for the fact that our members have access to it, because as Jason said, you know, they're an organization for artists. Of course, we represent artists of all disciplines. And as a member of EAR, you have access to this health plan. So that was the big one for us. And we just want to see our community taken care of. So thank you so much, everyone, for coming. I actually have a survey I'm going to be sending out on email, and I'll also copy the link here that I was hoping people would be willing to give us some feedback, because it helps us understand what we do good and what we can work on. So if people would be willing to do that, I would really appreciate it. And I'll also send it out by email if you get a chance. And if there's anything else, please reach out and let us know. We really appreciate you coming. Thank you so much. And
Thanks a lot, guys. Have a good evening.
Don't forget to become an EAR member, whether or
yes,
not you
Okay.
decide to go with the healthcare insurance or not. If you're
Yes.
not already a member.
I will enroll first thing in the morning.
perfect.
Thank
Great.
you.
Have a good evening, guys.
Thank you so much, everyone.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.